Right, so in part 2 of the tutorial, we're going to write a parser to parse the content into a CSV file. Alright, so from the last video, we download the HTML pages into local files that contains the listings. And I already opened one of the file, and this is what the file looks like. So we have the listings information right here. This is going to be the first listing, second listing, third listing, and so on. So when it comes to web scraping, you can sync these as your raw data. And this HTML file here is what we call unstructured data type. And to simplify the process, I'm going to use pandas package. And I forgot to install pandas, so I'm going to install the pandas package using the command pip install pandas. Alright, so let's look at the import statement here. For this parser script, I'm going to import the datetime class, in which I'm going to use the now function to create the timestamp. And from collections, I'm going to import the nameTuple class, actually not class, nameTuple function. And the nameTuple function is used to create name fields for a tuple object to make the object more readable and maintainable. Then I'm going to use pathlet library to configure the source path, followed by pandas and BeautifulSoup. Now here, let me go ahead and create my property detail tuple object structure. So from this nameTuple object creation, we're going to name the nameTuple property detail. Inside the tuple object, I'm going to specify my fields. In this case, we want to extract the price, address, features. Features is going to be the information here, like how many bedroom, bathroom, the property square size, property status, and the properties URL. To run the parser, I'm going to create a main function. And here I'm going to create my path object, and it's going to be the location where my HTML files are located. Then I'm going to extract the HTML files inside this folder here. Now using path.globe method, this is actually going to return as a generator. So here I can use the next function to return the next available file path. Now my goal here is I'm going to compile the listings from these three files into a single master data set. So I'm going to create an empty list called property listing. And this list object is going to store the listings record. Now to parse the information, in this case will be individual data points, I created a function called parse property listing info. And we're going to pass the article element as the argument. Now from this point, we just need to figure out the key attribute that we can use to locate different element properties. So for example, for price, let me go back and I'll select the price here, inspect. Oops, let me go back. And let me increase the font. So here's the element where the price is located. So if we look at the element here, the tag is the span tag. And here we have this attribute right here called data test. And we have the value called property car price. And using this attribute, we can easily locate the price. So span tag and followed by the attribute. Now when I import the price, which is going to contain the $sign and the comma. And I want to replace those two characters with an empty string. Now I'll do the same thing for address and URL. Except that for URL, here let's look at the URL. So the URL is on this A tag. There are a couple of approaches that we can take to locate this element right here. But I want to try something different. So if we look at the address, which is right here, an alternative to locate the A element is that, so if we look at the address tag, you'll notice that the parent element is the A tag. So from the address element, which is this statement here, we can reference the parent element. In this case, it will be the A tag element. And from there, we can reference the attribute, which is the href attribute, and get the value. Now for the features, like how many bedrooms, bathroom, and square size. So this one's a little bit more tricky. So if we look at the element, so each feature is a list under this li tag. So what I did here is that I'm basically trying to locate this ul tag that contains the features in a list. Then I'm going to iterate each listing item. Then I'm going to put them in a list. Then I'm going to join them together into a single string. And to get the property status, which is this item here, active, new, inactive. So to get the status, basically, if we look at this element here, the property status is a sibling of the ul tag. So what I can do here is I can figure out the parent of the ul tag. And that's what I did here. Then I'll extract the text from the parent element. Now, if I simply run this method here, it's going to return this line here. And between the features string or text and the property status, so we have a dash right here. So here I'm going to set stripe to true to remove the spaces on both ends from each text. Then I'm going to split the text using dash as the delimiter. And from there, I can basically reference the last element to give me the property status. Then I'll construct my property detail record. I'll provide the price, address, feature text, status, and the listing URL. Then I'll return the property detail record. Now to put everything together, so here we're getting the first file path to the first HTML file. Then we need to insert a while loop to iterate the files until if no file are found. And here let me fix the indentation. Now inside the while loop, I'm going to print the message processing file followed by the file path. Then I'm going to open the file and load them as a soup object. Then I'll find all the article elements. Then I'll iterate each article element. Then I'll call the parse property listing info function and I'll pass the article element to return the property record. Then I'll append the record to the property listing list. Then move on to the next file and so on. And once the while loop is finished, that means that we have compiled the data or putting all the listings into the property listing list. Then I'm going to create my timestamp. And I'll create my data frame object and save the table as a CSV file. And I'll name the file Zillow properties followed by today's timestamp.csv. And I'll ignore the index and that'll be it. Now here I can simply run the main function. Alright, so if I go ahead and run the script, and hopefully nothing will go wrong. Alright, so looks like the script is finished. Now here's the CSV file. If I go ahead and open the file, let's take a look. So here we have 5 columns: the price, address, features is active. So if we look at this column here, some of the listings are new, and those will be the ones that I may be interested in because I want to know any new properties that just came out. And then here we have the listing URL that we can go into the page and to create another script to parse the listings in more detail. So this concludes this tutorial, and hopefully you guys find this video useful. And feel free to post your question or feedback in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give this video a like and click on the subscribe button. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.